What's going on, everybody? I'm Tank, and this is another episode of Roadie Reactions.
Get with this.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Sabaton Saturday. This is the dedicated day of the week where I continue my personal adventure discovering the music of Sabaton, while also learning a lot of cool history along the way. And in today's video, I'm going to be checking out a song for the very first time that has been highly recommended by you guys in the YouTube community. And from what I understand, it's become a pretty popular meme amongst the Sabaton fan base. Now, of course, I'm talking about the Winged Hussars, also known as the Polish Hussars. And if there's anybody out there that's not familiar, like I was, which I'm just going to assume a lot of people watching this already are familiar, the Winged Hussars were a Polish cavalry unit that was part of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth from the 16th to the 18th centuries. Now, this specific song talks about the Battle of Vienna that took place on September 12th, 1683. It was one of the largest cavalry charges ever in recorded history. Approximately 30,000 of the Winged Hussars took on the force of the Ottoman Empire and eventually beat the shit out of them and drew them back and ultimately defeated them. Now, I didn't want to ruin the history of this too much, so I stopped there because I want to learn from the song, and I also want to learn from the Sabaton history episode on this, which, if anybody's interested in watching that, I will link that in the description below. Now, one of the cool things that I found out was that even though the Winged Hussars were officially decommissioned in the 1770s, their spirit still lives on today. In World War I and in World War II, there were Polish cavalry units that were heavily armed that drew inspiration from the Winged Hussars. And even today in Poland, there is a cavalry unit that, from what I understand, is an inspiration of the old school Winged Hussars. So hopefully we'll learn some about that. I'll try and drop some facts in here too. And as always, I'm gonna check out the lyric video first, and then we'll find a live video to watch after. So I will link both the videos I'm going to do in the description below. And today, I'm once again listening to Sabaton, and for the very first time, hearing their song, The Winged Hussars. Let's go!
When the Winged Hussars arrive, outnumbered and weak, sent a message to the sky. Wounded soldiers left to die. Will they hold the wall, or will the city fall? Dedication, dedication, that outnumbered 15 to 1, and the battle's begun, and the Winged Hussars arrive, coming down the mountainside.
So this song was from the album The Last Stand, which, if I'm not mistaken, all of the songs on The Last Stand are about famous historical battles that were literally last stands. So I'm assuming that the situation that the Battle of Vienna was in was a very dire situation. Now, the one thing that just stood out was that there was a lyric in there that said they were outnumbered 15 to 1. I can do the math on that really quick. Hold on. So 30,000 Winged Hussars. If my math isn't horrible, I believe that's 450,000 Ottoman Empire troops. I mean, it ain't no 40 to 1, but still, 15 to 1, not great odds. Dude, this is really cool because where I grew up in the US, the way that we learn history, honestly, is very US centric. We don't learn about stuff like this. We don't learn about the battles of other countries and their military forces. From what I knew growing up, from the history I learned, Poland relied on a lot of help from other people. But from what I'm learning from Sabaton history and their songs, we've got Uprising, 40-1, this one, stuff like that. Like, Poland's got a badass history, man. These guys are way tougher than history would lead us to believe, at least where I learned history growing up. So that's another thing I love about this band, man. I'm learning so much about other countries' histories and heroics in battle and stuff like that, and it's very cool. Let's continue.
As the days are passing by, and as the dead are piling high, no escape and no salvation. Trenches to explosive halls are buried deep beneath the walls. Plant the charges there and watch the city fair. Desperation, it's a desperate race against the mind, and a race against time, and the winged hussars arrive, coming down the mountainside, and the winged hussars arrive, coming down, they turn the tide. Cannonballs are coming down from the sky. Janissaries, are you ready to die? We will seek our vengeance eye for a night. You'll be stopped upon the steps of our gate.
Oh, awesome sounding bridge musically.
And will come the Sabaton sealing your fate.
Before we hear this solo, that was like some Dream Theater liquid tension experiment sounding right there. That was really cool. This song is very generic is a bad word. It's not generic, but it's a very stereotypical sounding Sabaton song. It has that proper march to war feel. It kind of reminds me of Bismarck. Now I know Bismarck came out after this, but it's similar to me. Not too similar that I think it's, lazy songwriting or anything, but just very similar. So, let's hear this solo.
We will seek our vengeance eye for a night. You'll be stopped upon the steps of our gate. On this field you're only facing our hate. That will come the Sabaton sealing your fate.
I wonder if the We Remember in September is a big deal in Poland. I wonder if it's like a national holiday or it's just a Remembrance Day. Either way, I hope to God there's a live version of this in Poland that I can find, because I haven't decided which live version I'm going to do yet, but I will be back and we'll check out the live version. Now, I know since I've started Sabaton Saturday, we've seen a lot of live videos from the Great Tour, and I was going to try and find something else. And there were some other live performances. But this performance is in Warsaw. We have to watch this one. So, right now, we're going to watch Sabaton, the Winged Hussars, live from the Great Tour in Warsaw, Poland.
We're going to play you one extra song that nobody else on this tour gets.
Ooh. I wonder if that's true. That gets said a lot.
Because you're Poland!
Oh,
And the Winged Hussars!
this crowd's gonna go off. Yes! Floriansson's husband, everybody.
Cry for help in time of need, await relief from Holy League. 60 days of siege, outnumbered and weak. Sent a message to the sky, wounded soldiers left to die. Will they hold the wall, or will the city fall? Dedication, dedication, that outnumbered 50 to 1. And the lives have gone, and the Winged Hussars ride. Hey! Coming down the mountainside. And the Winged Hussars ride. Coming down, they turn the tide. As the days are passing.
So, since we've watched a lot of these great tour videos, there's not a lot to talk about in terms of new gear and production that we haven't seen, so I'm not going to waste a ton of time. But just in case there are people that are seeing my videos for the first time, I still want to mention some of the stuff. As I've already mentioned, Floriansson's husband, Hannes Van Dahl, playing drums for Sabaton. He is an exclusive artist of Yamaha drums and Sabian cymbals. Also a lefty. And it's interesting because I did get to do an interview with his drum tech, Emmanuel, on this channel, and asked him about the difficulties of being a righty and having to set up a kit backwards every day and play as a lefty. But he said he got used to it pretty quick, man. And already I've already seen Per playing that ESP F1000, F1004. I always forget the actual numbering in it, but the F series is originally what they called, the F series is based off what was the original Forest series. And other than the video of Primo Victoria that I saw in 2005, that's the only style of bass I've seen him play for probably at least, let's see, at least 10 years of videos now from the dates that I've seen. And then, you know, the only problem with these videos, even though I love the shots, is I don't really get to see Chris and Tommy that much to get a good eye on their gear, but I will try very hard. Let's continue.
As the days are passing by, and as the dead are piled high, no escape and no salvation. Trenches to explosive halls are buried deep beneath the walls, and the charges there and watch the safety clear. Desperation, desperation, it's a desperate race against the dying, and a race against time, and the Winged Hussars ride. Coming down the mountainside,
I want to headbang, but I want to see this crowd too.
and the Winged Hussars ride. Coming down, they turn the tide. Cannonballs are coming down from the sky. Enemy soldiers are ready to die. We will see them in the sight for a night. You be stopped upon the steps of a gate. All this feeling of the crazy of hate. Let the cold of the city your fate.
So Tommy is definitely playing his Ibanez S series that we've seen him play a bunch. Tommy and Chris go back and forth between playing Ibanez's and SGs. Ibanez's and ESPs. SG is a Gibson line. And then in older videos, I've seen Chris playing Comparison too, but they're both playing ESPs. They're both playing Ibanez's. I'm getting too confused talking about different stuff. They're both playing Ibanez's in this video. Tommy definitely with the S. Chris looks like he's playing his RG, which he plays a lot. I'm pretty sure it's a 7-string. I'm not sure. And what I did just notice that somebody pointed out is I like the panning in this audio. So both guitar players are just in separate ears when you're listening to it in ears. However, the way that they have it mixed is not from this angle where the camera is, it's from the crowd. So even though when we're watching the video, Chris is on the left, his guitar audio is coming out of the right ear and Tommy's is coming out of the left. It's almost as if you were standing in the crowd watching it and hearing it. Going back to Joachim saying, you guys are getting a song that nobody else is getting. That gets said a lot on tours. There are things that seem exclusive to shows every night on tour that artists say, but in reality, they say it damn near every night. In this instance, I believe that. And the reason I believe that is because we haven't seen any special effects in terms of pyro or costume changes or anything like that. And the lighting look is good, but there's nothing insane going on. So this is definitely leading me to believe that this was thrown in on the fly, or at least a couple days ahead of time, so the lighting director had long enough to program either a scene or a punt page or something like that. But yeah, we're no special effects, nothing crazy. This probably was thrown in close to the show coming up, if not the day of they decided they should do this. Let's finish this off. Huge! Let's go! Dude, the thing about their music, it's made me feel proud to be Polish, and I'm not even Polish. It's made me proud to be Swedish, and I'm not even Swedish. These guys are so good with these, man. Oh, let's go talk about it. These guys have a winning formula and they stick to it. This is exactly what I expect from a Sabaton song. And I know earlier I was talking about the sound of it and I said, generic is not the right word because it's not generic. It's unique, but they have found their niche and they stick to it. This is a sound that the second it comes on, I can differentiate this from any other band I'm listening to and be like, that's Sabaton right away. And great bands do that. And one of the things that I love the most about this band is the historical element to all of their stuff. It makes me way more interested in learning about history more than just where I grew up in the US. I want to learn about other countries and other historical moments that they had. And that is super cool that they can do this with their music. And I'm probably going to go sit down and watch the Sabaton history episode of this before I even edit because I'm really excited about that. And again, I will have the link to that below in the description. And guys, go support these bands. Don't just watch these videos here. I thank you for watching them. But go to these bands' channels and also watch all these videos there because it helps them out a ton. Thank you guys once again. And if this is your first time here, feel free to click subscribe. I release new videos all the time. So if you turn your alerts on, YouTube may notify you when they come out, but they probably won't. If you liked this video, I would greatly appreciate the like as it does help the channel. But if you disliked it, not a big deal, man. Thank you for watching this time. You are free to click dislike, move on, go find another channel. I'm also on a ton of different social media. I even have a Discord server that I hang out on often. I stream video games on Twitch and just sit around and talk to you guys. And if any of that interests you, I will put the links to those in the description as well. My handle on everything social media related is @TankTheTech. Thank you so very much once again for watching. I will be back very soon with another episode of Roadie Reactions.